Hello, everyone, and welcome into Future Money Trends. I got a special guest today. His name is Dr. Pierce Carson. He's an experienced mining entrepreneur and the president and CEO of Magellan Gold Corp, a company actually pursuing millions of ounces of silver in Arizona and also targeting gold and silver in Peru with brand new developments with some potential game changers actually in Peru that we're going to talk about. But first of all, Pierce Carson, thanks for joining me.
Kenneth, it's a real pleasure to be on your show.
Pierce, many analysts are making fall predictions and are anticipating a large move in gold here towards the end of 2016. And September actually historically has been the best performing month for gold for decades now. And I want to get your thoughts here because of your extensive experience. What is the significance about gold here going into the fall season?
Well, as shown by historical data, there are seasonal tendencies for gold and for silver, which usually follows gold. The seasonal changes are primarily driven by demand rather than supply. The supply for mines stays reasonably constant. Demand is affected by such factors as the wedding season in India, which occurs around the end of the year, and by holiday shopping. In general, gold tends to hit a significant seasonal low during the doldrums of the summer months, followed by a rise in the fall during the Indian festival and wedding seasons. The historical data show that the greatest price increase, as you mentioned, tends to occur in the month of September, and the greatest decrease in the month of March. Of course, although seasonal price tendencies clearly exist, analysts and traders look first to technical and fundamental factors most likely to drive the precious metals markets. They consider seasonal factors only secondarily to the more direct factors that influence market price.
Well, we certainly saw that higher low here during the August correction, and September has been so far a spectacular month for gold. And so the convergence of fundamentals and fear that are related to gold, and I mean, you have the election uncertainty, the debt uncertainty, stock market uncertainty, as well as just the precious metals fundamentals. How confident are you regarding owning precious metals at these prices?
Kenneth, personally, I am very confident in owning gold and silver at these prices, and I'm convinced that significantly higher prices are on the way. We talked about the seasonal tendency of the gold price to increase during the fall. There are also the overriding fundamental factors you were referring to, including fear and uncertainty with regard to the election, the stock market, and the economy. In times of crisis, the fear factor causes gold to be bought as a safe haven. So currently we have the two factors acting together to increase buying of gold. First, the seasonal factor, and second, the fear factor. We can expect prices to be driven higher by the convergence of these fundamentals.
Pierce, let's talk about central banks here for a minute, specifically the Fed. And we know that we are at $180 billion a month in collective global QE. And the Fed has seemed to have lost their credibility, and the market is pricing in no interest rate hike as it continues to rise, the market, the overall stock market. And I guess I want to ask you this. Do you think the market can withstand even the smallest rate hike while it seems like the rest of the world is going negative?
I don't think the economy and market can stand a rate hike. Although the Fed has continued to talk about further hikes since the rate was increased last December, a rate hike hasn't occurred because a predicted recovery has not happened. The economy is still in a very precarious position, and a rate hike could well lead to a downturn into recession. Rather than tightening, it is more likely the Fed will enact another round of quantitative easing, but wants to represent the possibility of another rate hike to the market. If there is additional easing, the Fed has only a quarter of a point in which to maneuver, so mobility is limited. It's not a very pretty picture.
And it's hardly much of a move, to say the least. And we are getting a lot of double speak from the Fed, with them just unable to give us any clear indication as to what is going to happen, although I think the majority of us think that we will not see a rate hike here in September. Pierce, Magellan Gold, when people invest in this company or partner with you, I mean, this company is highly leveraged to the exposure of silver. And to be honest with you, silver is actually my favorite precious metals to invest in. You got the supply shortages of it, its role in the monetary system. I want to ask you and get your thoughts on why you believe there's a strategic opportunity in silver that exists today.
Well, Kenneth, I agree with you completely on the fundamentals of silver and why it's a great commodity to be looking at. I'm very optimistic about the future for a number of reasons. We've seen that silver prices can be very volatile. And for example, over the three-year period from 2008 to 2011, we saw a 5 times increase from about $10 an ounce to nearly $50. Silver is subject to increasing demand, both industrial and monetary. And today, there is record demand for silver, higher than it was in 2011 when the price was $50. Silver also follows gold in price, and the historical gold-silver price ratio currently points to silver being undervalued. For all these reasons, I think we could see much higher silver prices over the next few years. Take the gold-silver price ratio, for example. Currently, it's out of the historic range. The last couple of years, the ratio has been 70 to 75 to 1. Over the previous several years, it was about 60 to 1. This suggests silver has some catching up to do. At a 60 to 1 ratio and a gold price of $13.50, silver would be around $22.50. So it's, even though it's come up and it's around $20 right now, which is, it's good to see those upward moves. But I think, it still has a way to go. You also have to remember that a large percentage, well over 50% of silver production, comes as a byproduct from other types of mining, mainly base metal, copper, lead, and zinc, and those base metals are struggling. So this is another reason I'm particularly optimistic about the silver. The cutbacks in the base metal mining has resulted in a reduction of byproduct silver production. And with respect to gold production, there's only about 11 times as much silver being produced as compared to gold. So these are additional reasons to think there could be a major revaluation of the silver price.
I couldn't agree with you more, and it kind of leads me to my next question. I really, when looking at these fundamentals and just what we're seeing this year with the mining sector, I can't imagine a better time to actually be building a mining company than what we are seeing today in the early stages of the bull market. And you guys are certainly doing this with Magellan Gold. Please give our audience an update on the developments with the company.
Well, it certainly is an exciting time to be in the precious metals mining business. For those listeners who may not be familiar with Magellan, we are a U.S. public company focused on precious metals exploration and development, with a strong emphasis, as you pointed out, on silver. Our two main properties are located in Arizona and in Peru. Our 100% owned Arizona property, called the Silver District, contains a near-surface historical drilled resource of 16 million ounces of silver and exhibits exploration promise for significant expansion. Our Nino Bamba silver gold property in southern Peru, recently announced in July, on which we are earning a 50% interest, demonstrates potential for a large bulk tonnage silver gold deposit. Both of these properties are quality advanced exploration projects that with additional work could well be developed into mines. Just this week, we are announcing an agreement to significantly expand our property position at Nino Bamba. We and our partner, Rio Silver Incorporated, have acquired 3 concessions from a Peruvian company owned jointly by Newmont Mining and Southern Peru Copper. The new concessions lie just west of our Nino Bamba concession and will expand our land holdings to 31 square kilometers. We're excited about this acquisition, which adds substantially to the potential for a large bulk tonnage disseminated silver gold deposit. At Nino Bamba, limited drilling and trenching has identified large open-ended zones of ore-grade silver and silver-gold mineralization. The new concessions contain untested silver anomalies that appear to reflect direct extensions of the main mineralized zones at Nino Bamba. In Peru and elsewhere, the so-called high sulfidation style of gold-silver mineralization, as represented at Nino Bamba, has produced world-class precious metals deposits.
Pierce, when it comes to exploration companies, these really are the lottery ticket plays in the mining sector. And you've already shared with us some of the information regarding Magellan. But I want to ask you, and I want to spotlight, what are the biggest upside factors for investors here when partnering with this specific exploration play?
Well, as far as what sets Magellan apart, makes the company in our view, a compelling investment, the key ingredients are our experienced management, the quality assets that we've talked about, and a superior business plan for dynamic growth. These are the fundamentals that will create stockholder value. A few points to note for any listeners considering an investment in Magellan. First of all, we have a small but experienced management group who have been successful in not only discovering new deposits, but also placing them into production. Our properties are quality advanced stage properties that have excellent chances of eventually becoming mines. An aspect that makes our business plan somewhat unique and different from most junior exploration companies is that we will be placing a high priority on achieving production. During my career, I've been involved in taking several projects from exploration through development and into production. We've been evaluating near-term production targets and hope to be able to announce an additional acquisition within the next few weeks. We've talked about our strong emphasis on silver and all of the reasons that we're optimistic about silver. Certainly, if our projections of higher silver prices are correct, Magellan will be able to offer significant leverage to investors. With respect to trading and stock price, Magellan has been very much under the radar. I just came on board as CEO in June, and we are beginning to execute our strategy for rapid growth. In addition, we will be making an attempt to get our story out. Our stock price has increased in the last few months, but with a market cap of only about $10 million, the stock still has plenty of upside. So I see every reason Magellan has a bright future as we take our projects forward and execute our strategy of adding precious metals assets.
Well, Dr. Pierce Carson, I gotta thank you for coming on the show with me and just sharing with our audience, your understanding of the markets, your extensive understanding, obviously, in the mining sector, and of course, the opportunity to be able to partner with you in Magellan Gold Corp. If people want to learn more about the company, and of course, let them know the ticker as well, if they would like to learn more and partner with you and your team.
That's great. And, we do have the website, which is MagellanCorp.com, MagellanGoldCorp.com. And of course, you can get on there and sign up for information and so forth, and we'll be continuing to work on our website and try to keep that up to date for people as well. I certainly appreciate very much being on your show, Kenneth.
And once again, everyone, the website is MagellanGoldCorp.com, and the ticker symbol on the U.S. side, OTCQB, is MAGE, M-A-G-E. Again, Pierce Carson, thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for being on your show, Kenneth.
AIDS now, and I want to get your thoughts here because of your extensive experience. What is the significance about gold here going into the fall season?
Well, as shown by historical data, there are seasonal tendencies for gold and for silver, which usually follows gold. The seasonal changes are primarily driven by demand rather than supply. Data show that the greatest price increase, as you mentioned, tends to occur in the month of September, and the greatest decrease in the month of March. Of course, although seasonal price tendencies clearly exist, analysts and traders look first to technical and fundamental factors most likely to drive the precious metals markets. They consider seasonal factors only secondarily. The supply for mines stays reasonably constant. Demand is affected by such factors as the wedding season in India, which occurs around the end of the year, and by holiday shopping. In general, gold tends to hit a significant seasonal low during the doldrums of the summer months, followed by a rise in the fall during the Indian festival and wedding seasons. The historical...
Hello, everyone, and welcome into Future Money Trends. I got a special guest today. His name is Dr. Pierce Carson. He's an experienced mining entrepreneur and the president and CEO of Magellan Gold Corp, a company actually pursuing millions of ounces of silver in Arizona and also targeting gold and silver in Peru with brand new developments with some potential game changers actually in Peru that we're going to talk about. But first of all, Pierce Carson, thanks for joining me.
Kenneth, it's a real pleasure to be on your show.
Pierce, many analysts are making fall predictions and are anticipating a large move in gold here towards the end of 2016. And September actually historically has been the best performing month for gold for decades.